What is up, guys? Welcome to the weekly break. We're here with a new guest once again. Yassine.
Yeah, what's up, guys? It's Yassine. I'm actually Yassine's friend. Such a coincidence. We're both in Yassine. I'm Egyptian as well. Just moved here, and yeah, it's an honor to be here, man.
Oh, it's great to have you, bro. We're excited for this one.
There's gonna be too many Yassines. We're gonna get confused.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's part of it, man.
And of course, Mateo's back with us again.
Yeah, let's go, man.
Okay, well, hold on. Do you not think maybe you should give me another name, just so we don't get confused?
All right. Well, we can
Yassine
call you.
too.
No, he's Salim.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Salim?
Salim.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, it's Salim from now on.
Sure, man.
Alright, so Yassine, tell us, what are we gonna talk about today?
We're gonna be quite controversial today. It's gonna be about my ideas with religion and relationship.
Okay.
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
And how are we gonna start with that subject?
So relationships. Let's start with that. I had quite a lot of conversations this week about relationships, and it got me thinking. Like, do you need to be successful and strong and to have it already figured out in order for a girl to like you, for it to be legit, or should you be with the girl when you're at the bottom and building yourself up, and that's like the wife material or not? And the other thing that I was thinking of is, is there no possibility now to have an actual genuine relationship in this world, because everyone is selfish and women only like you for your money? And yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Okay, so I'll take a shot at your first point. What I think is, it's quite simple. I think it depends on what kind of person you're searching for.
Yeah.
You know, if your goal in life is to find a woman who's, I don't know, like a model, or like an LA girl or something, like from one of those stereotypical wives that, you know, don't maybe have like the same values as you. In that case, that's probably what you're gonna need. You're probably gonna need a shit ton of money and a shit ton of muscles. Okay, but then if in your life what you're searching for is a woman with the same values as you, and that thinks the same way as you, and that kind of has the same train of thought as you, then I think you don't need all of those things, because she won't believe in all those muscles and all this money, because there's something else that matters to her.
Yeah, it's definitely the type of woman you want to attract as well. And also I think it's a lot to do with the stage of your life, kind of. Because if you're looking to marry someone, obviously you're gonna have to ask yourself more serious questions like, is she the right girl for me? Is she mature? Is she like competent in whatever she wants to strive in? And especially like in our age, I think people tend to think too seriously when it comes to relationships. But honestly, man, like we're at an age where we can basically just date someone, and if it doesn't work out, well, it's not the end of the world. Like you have a lot of time left. You can still make mistakes, and you can improve on yourself, and that's the cool thing about being young. Yeah.
You made some very, very good points there, too.
Thank you.
But I have a comment to say on that, what you were saying, because I feel like at the end of the day, no matter like what your preferences are in the woman that you're looking for, it all goes back to what you want to do with your life and how you control your life as a person. Because I know some people can get really affected and influenced either negatively or positively by a relationship, and what you choose to do with that relationship and what you choose to like interpret, like what I'm trying to say is like some people could be negatively affected by it, but if you have control over yourself and control over what you don't want to do with your life, a relationship won't necessarily have a negative effect on you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But do you think like you need to be successful before you consider getting in if let's say your goal is to be successful, okay, or you have goals for your life, should you get in a relationship once you've become successful, or you know, as you go? I know it's a hard question, it's a hard ending question, but it's something
I don't
to
think
about.
specifically though, because like, well, it's up to you really, because it depends on your confidence level. If you feel like you should be at a certain point in your life where you have it all figured out to benefit your confidence, maybe, then yeah, if you define confidence as such. But if you feel already comfortable with yourself to approach the person, then I think you should go for it, honestly.
I think it just depends on the person,
Yeah.
the kind of person that you are. You know, like
Yeah.
I have some friends I know they're like, no, I have to become successful and then get the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for example, in my case, I'm like, you know, as long as I have my goals that are set up straight, and
Yeah.
as long as I meet someone who has his goals set up, her goals set up straight as well. Her goals set up straight as well. In that case, I'm, you know, like I don't. It can only benefit you. It's like you said, if you find the right person with the right attributes and the right way of thinking, therefore it can just push you forward.
Yeah. Yeah, but honestly, okay, so my input to what you were saying is that like some people get successful to be in a relationship and
True.
others get successful for other reasons. And so it all goes back to why you want to be successful. So if you get into a relationship before you reach the success level you were hoping for, you will no longer have the thrive to be as successful. You know, you get what I'm saying? Because like if for example you're hitting the gym right now and you have a goal in mind that you want to be successful in that field, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not even gonna lie, like most men, I'm not gonna say most men not to like, you know, but like some men go to the gym specifically to attract women.
Yeah.
And if you already have a woman, you're not gonna be as motivated to hit the gym because you're already taken. So you're no longer working for anything now.
Yeah, for
See?
affection. Yeah.
Exactly. So it all goes back to what your mindset is and
Yeah.
how you like what is your goal to begin with, you know?
Exactly. But I also want to go back on something. We're talking about girls because we're guys, but I know that there's also guys who think the same way as these other girls do. That we don't.
In what way?
I'll be more clear.
Yeah.
Clear. So you said, for example, there's a lot of girls that only go around searching for guys that have money and muscles.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's also a lot of guys who only go around searching for girls who have nice bodies or that have money in some cases, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that could also be useful information to share with other men. Because we always say, oh, girls can be hoes or whatever, and guys can be pimps. But it's really important to understand that if your goals as a guy is to only find a girl who has a nice body and just don't care about anything else, you're not gonna find wifey material.
Exactly,
You know.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I feel like it just like, if you let it be, like, honestly, if a person is just like moving through his own path, a girl is gonna come to you at some point. Like,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
you have to make it natural. You can't just like force a relationship
Yeah.
just for the sake of being in a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just stay on your own path and eventually it will come.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you are what you attract.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Also, like if you're trying to attract a very different person from you, it's gonna be harder because like you have nothing in common and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just that if you have trouble relating with the person, then you're probably not gonna hit it off as such, and maybe you're gonna have problems in the future. Like it could be, it could mean that as well.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? It's just that people nowadays, like, they measure your success as a man in a way as how many girls you've been with, or oh, you've got a girlfriend. With our culture, you know, if someone in your family hasn't had a girlfriend or something, they might be like, oh, you should have a girlfriend now, you should go and, you know, go out with girls, etc. But because otherwise you're shy. But it might not be the case, you know. Sometimes you might just not do that because you haven't found someone that interests you. Like we were talking once about how it's difficult, you know, sometimes to have deep convos.
That's true.
With
Like definitely, because me and Yasin, we were talking and we said like, do you get the impression that we can only have like deep conversations with each other and not with other people in general? But then we thought, if I want to have a girlfriend, for example, I would want to have deep conversations with her, like about life and stuff, not just about materialistic things, for example. I don't know, like, but it's important for me because I know as a person I like to have deep combos about life, and if I can't have that with a person, then it's kind of complicated to establish a link. And I think it goes for Yasin as well, because he told me he felt a similar way. I don't know about you guys, but how do you feel on that?
I don't know, man. Honestly, like, you've cornered me right now. Like, I have no opinion towards this.
Yeah. Well,
No, I think I definitely agree with you because I know that the kind of person I want to be with
yeah.
is, you know, for me a good person to marry is someone that you consider a best friend as much as anything
Yeah,
else.
that's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
with all my best friends, I'm able to have deep conversations. I'm able to talk to them
Yeah.
about various subjects without being scared that I'm gonna be judged, or
Yeah.
you know, I'm just transparent, literally transparent. I just say stuff, and sometimes they're like, "Bro, you're saying stupid shit." I know. It's just people with. It's just a person with whom you can just
Say stuff and not expect to be judged. Yeah.
It's like a best friend, but there's more to it because there's that sense of attraction that you don't necessarily have when you're with your best friends. You know.
Yeah.
So I think all kinds of romantic relationships, especially, they start off as, they start off as nice, like as friendships, and then they evolve. You know.
Yeah.
No, but like, okay, so I get what you're saying, and I completely agree with it. But I feel like in this day and age, I feel like at this point, people or like women specifically do not like to see men open up, and this is something that like I've noticed. I'm not gonna say off of experience, but I've seen like people go through some shit like this, and I feel like you should, in order to get a woman that you want, or like a woman that you want, obviously, but like you should put on a persona, or like not. This is not healthy. Of course, it's not healthy. But nowadays, the easiest way to get a woman is to not be yourself, and this is how I see it personally, and this is how
that's the same. That's the easiest way.
Yeah,
but the easiest way might not be the best.
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
You know?
That's what I was gonna say. Cause like last podcast we were talking about authenticity and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would rather be real with someone and not get instant success with a girl than to fake a personality and get with. Cause you know, like, there are people that are still at peace with themselves and act completely as they would with friends and stuff. Well, not exactly, because you know it's a different situation with the girl, but they're themselves basically, and they're like they're able to attract the person.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it comes down to your confidence level and the way you say stuff. But I don't think it should be a great thing to modify your character just to get with someone. Yeah.
But I do get what you mean, though. Like, it's understandable.
No,
I know.
It is easier to do what he says, but like I don't. It's not the right approach.
And we have friends that did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we all know someone that did.
Well,
that,
yeah,
so.
most likely, yeah.
Yeah, I think it just comes back to principles. So if you just want to find the easy way to find a girlfriend, sure, it could work out. You know, like, maybe it can happen.
Yeah.
It's just that if you end up, you know, with someone that you're not able to, that you can only be, if you're with that person with whom you always have to put up that persona, at some point just gonna like...
Of course. I mean, I agree with you, but like, in the beginning, if you open up or you get too comfortable with that person, like, not just with a girlfriend, even sometimes with like normal friends, if you get too comfortable, they might look at you in a different way just based off how you it's because it's not even because they're gonna judge you for it. It's because if you get too comfortable and if they hear something that they don't appreciate, don't like, they're gonna have a different way of looking at you.
But that's where I think of something. I think then maybe they weren't destined to be in your life from the start. In the sense of like it's hard to find friends that would resonate with you. But if you can't like be yourself around them, maybe there's something wrong.
Look, as long as they're respectful towards you and like they don't say shit behind your back, I guess could be considered good friends.
I do agree with you that you're not gonna cry in front of them and be, oh, this person betrayed me in the past and etc. But if you can't like start to trust them, then
then it becomes
a problem.
I'll add something to that. I myself, I feel like my personality, like, I'm a person who's very in touch with my emotions. I don't show it because, like you said, it's something that's kind of frowned upon. But I know that, for example, when I have conversations with Yassine or whatever, I'm not scared to tell him how I'm feeling or how I think I'm doing and everything. You know, if I'm confused about something, I'll talk to him about it. If I'm scared about something, I'll talk to him about it. And I realize that, and I always do that now when I meet new people, is that as soon as I feel like they're comfortable enough to listen to me, you know, it could be I just met that person a few days ago, but I feel like it's a good person. I won't be scared to say things straight up to them because it's the easiest thing. You know, it just breaks all the ice, it breaks all the glass. You're able to share your emotions or how you're feeling with that person right away, whether it's a girl, a guy, a friend, or whatever. And you just don't have to worry about, is that person good for me or is it a bad person for me, or is it going to be a good relationship, good friendship or not? Because as soon as you break the ice for the first time, it's the moment where you realize, is that person going to react in a negative way about the way I'm feeling or the way I'm thinking? Or is that person actually okay with all of that and is agreeing with me? In which case, it's a good friendship or relationship.
I mean, I don't know. So what you're trying to say is, you've never regretted opening up too much?
I was gonna say something about this.
Yeah.
So now we're saying all of this. It's sweet, it's cute, and everything. But when I am with friends, when I first met you, for example, I didn't open up immediately. I won't lie.
I mean, that's reasonable.
Because I had trust issues in the past, and I think part of me is always gonna have this, like, 'cause some people backstab me, this alert on,
Yeah, same.
where I'm not gonna open up immediately. I'm gonna open up with small things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me, but if I see, for example, I didn't tell you all immediately about the podcast. I only told you when I felt, oh, okay, my gut feeling's telling me these guys I can trust. These things I told them before about the copywriting, they didn't seem to be judgy. They're not like the old people I had in school.
Yeah.
So now I can open up more. But if immediately I saw like a weird reaction when I said the copywriting, I would be like, that's a bit strange.
Yeah.
Or when I saw that like my gut feeling wasn't feeling it, I wouldn't continue.
That's true.
So I do think there is...
I'm not saying open up right away, and I'm not saying I'm not saying tomorrow you talk about your biggest trauma in your life.
I'm much like Yassine, where I take my time with the person that I don't know.
Yeah.
And so as long as we're able to maintain a respectful relationship in the long term, then I guess I can share more about my personal life.
But that's definitely one thing I'm lacking on, like, not even recently, like, all my life, bro. Like, I've been in a situation where whenever I get to meet new people, it's just like I get way too comfortable really quickly, and then I'm just like, I start to realize how like people don't accept me opening up because and they don't do the same, and this is where like I start to freak out a bit because like I'm not getting the same energy, and I'm like, okay, so is this not an equal like
I can relate.
It's one
They
sided.
hold something over you.
Exactly.
It's kind of like we talked about in psychology. They have like the power over you.
Exactly.
You have to give.
I'm gonna go back to what you said.
Yeah.
Do I regret a few times opening up too much? Of course, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like my biggest friendships or my biggest, relationships that I had, it's all been the best because of that.
Yeah.
Because it either works out really well and the person opens up back to you, and then you create that instant connection and you become like friends right away.
Yeah.
Or it's the opposite, and you're like, okay, that guy is just weird. I just told him about something really important to me, and he's not giving the same energy back.
Yeah.
In which case, you understand. It's just
But it's always a risk. It's always a hit or
exactly.
miss. So you can never.
I heard something about this. Someone said trust is risky, which is why only brave men give it out.
Yeah.
And it is a risk, but also there could be a reward. But that's why you should always be careful about not sharing something that you wouldn't be comfortable, like
sharing.
Yeah.
If someone spread it out.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, to be honest, what you have is good because it's what he said. By demonstrating your enthusiasm in the conversation with the person, it's showing that you're brave enough to show like your true personality.
Yeah.
So I guess it's good that you have that, because I know myself, I wouldn't engage as thoroughly with a person because I trust issues, again, the same as Yassine. I kind of have this alert on, like whenever I meet a new person, I'm like, all right, I should reveal a certain degree of information about myself. But to be honest, like what Yassine said is very important, because we shouldn't feel scared or judged by the other person when we're saying, like, I don't know, like you're revealing something about yourself, because like if you feel that, it's part of that may tie to the fact that you may feel ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
So
So sometimes I force myself to open up to people just to encourage them to do the same. But this is where it gets risky, because if they don't share this, if you don't like express the same energy as you, this is where like you start to
start to decline.
Get worried, because like
I can relate to that because a couple of times I've done it as well.
Yeah.
And when I see that the person is not responding with the same energy, like it's so demotivating, because you're like, oh, I've revealed so much about myself, I'm trying to keep the conversation going, but like you're not responding with the same enthusiasm as I am. And then you kind of just like, do you have this thing where you're like, after revealing so much and like the conversation starts going stale a bit, you're like, I'm not gonna talk as much. Like this is so useless. Like
Exactly.
why did I spend this much time revealing?
True.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I don't know if you guys like.
Yeah, I have this, but I think I learned something that as time has went by, I have learned to kind of stop caring as much and to get a bit more comfortable with. Well, they might know, but the thing is, if I'm not comfortable with it, if they say, "Oh, you're a loser," you're weak, and I get affected by it, then it means part of me believes in what they said. Yeah. But if they say you're weak, and I might have told them something that showed that I was weak once, but right now I don't believe it because I believe I'm strong, say what you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. So I learned whenever like I said something and I'm like I give too much to the person, maybe I realize in the back of my mind, why am I feeling this way? Oh, it might be because part of me feels weak for what I just revealed.
Yeah.
So I need to see why is that?
Yeah.
No, but I feel like the part of not caring or not giving a fuck is, I think it's a lot of our personalities now, especially as men. We've got that a lot because we're not supposed to be affected by what people say, especially women, because they're usually the ones with like the words that hurt the most. And from experience, I don't know about you guys. I'm not generalizing, okay? But it's to the extent where you have to be confident enough in yourself and confident enough in your skills and the way you're thinking and in your values as well, to the point where if someone says something specific, it doesn't hurt you. Or if a guy says something, a girl says something, you know your worth, you know how much you put in the work. For example, at the gym, if someone says, "Oh, you look skinny," I get these comments all the time. "Oh, you look skinny, man." Like, bro, I've been hitting the gym for, I don't know, like a year now. Okay, sure, I look skinny for a guy, but I'm working on it. So if someone's going to tell me you're skinny, maybe inside I'm going to be like, oh, it affects me a little bit. But I know that I'm doing my best to, get in shape, go to the gym. I'm eating 4 meals a day. I can't do more than that, So it's just like, I'm confident that what I'm doing and all the effort that I'm putting in is enough for what they're saying not to affect me.
Yeah.
But honestly, it hurts the most when you know you're working on it and people still comment on it. Especially when you see improvement and people still see you as skinny. This is where it hits really hard.
I had this problem, and okay, I know we talked about the relationship. We're gonna let the conversation go as it's supposed to go. But I had this friend who would kind of try to be hard on me, but I was making progress. And he would always be like, "Oh, you should be bigger, bro. You should be. I'm bigger than you, bro." He was trying to push me, Yeah. And even one time he saw that caused me to kind of question myself because I respected his opinion a lot. And he was like, "I'm sorry. No, you're one of the biggest guys in the school. I just said that because I wanted to push you to go harder." And even though my uncle was telling me, "Yeah, bro, you're big, etc. You got bigger, and before look at the pictures, and the pictures were showing the progress," I was still hurt. Until I realized, and I'm not perfect yet, but I'm getting better. I'm playing his game, not my game. I'm measuring the standards of strength of how I'm supposed to look based on what he thinks I should look like, and not based on what I think I should look like, and based on the attributes that I want to have. So when I started, and social media doesn't help because you're always comparing yourself with everyone, but when I started to realize that, I should play my game, I should track my progress. But what I got from what he said, there was some truth. I felt a bit weak because I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, which was track how much I'm starting to lift, track my pictures with progress every month, and having even old pictures. I should have saved old pictures to see the progress. And when I started to do that, I was like, maybe he's saying that, but the data, the hard work I'm putting in, it all shows that no matter what he's saying, there is progress, and I can always go back and see it.
Yeah,
true.
So,
no, I respect that, man. Honestly, because at the end of the day, you're not competing with anyone else except yourself and your past self. Like, you always should compare yourself with how you used to be and not how others expect you to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But There's something I wanted to come at with like you said when you said you don't always open up easily, and we all said that. There's something I still do to this day because of this. It's giving the tough guy appearance. I think I told you about this. It's where like I have this in my mind where I believe if you joke, you're seen as weak. You can't joke because the moment you joke and you start making jokes around others, you kind of start to take away from this idea of he's a strong guy. He jokes around. He's kind of a clown now. So I wanted to know, do you have this too?
I used to have that a bit because I was always, I don't know, I always saw myself as the guy that made people laugh. Like, but to be honest, man, like, I started, because I had the same thing as you, like the tough guy look and stuff. But like, to be honest, for me, the tough guy is not the guy that's 6 feet tall and has like a lot of muscle and everything. I think the tough guy is really the guy who's comfortable in his own skin and doesn't care how he's perceived. And he's nice and respectful to anyone. And is not forced to belittle others and to act disrespectfully towards others. And is willing to help each other.
But
That's very well said.
But shouldn't you care what other people think to a certain extent?
No, man.
I'm gonna tell you what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel like we always say you shouldn't care what people say.
Yeah.
But in a way, that's also what has kind of screwed a lot of people up, because back then, we talked about this on the other pod.
Mm-hmm.
We used to care about how we did everything. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the way I speak is representing my family.
Yeah.
The way is representing my culture. It's representing my religion. If I'm mean to this dude, which kind of ties to what you said. If I'm mean to this dude, then I'm representing my family badly and my religion badly and my culture. If I'm not strong, then they're gonna think, oh, all of them have to be weak and fat and lazy. And so I used to always say, oh, who cares what people think? But now I'm kind of catching myself back and wondering, shouldn't we care a bit because others, how we are with others and how they view us doesn't just affect how they view us, but how they view our culture, our religion, and our family.
That's a good point.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
The thing is, you should not care. Okay, there's different amounts. Like, you can care a lot about something to the point where it affects you. You could care about something to the point where it affects you not only mentally but physically as well. Some people are like, they care so much about someone's opinion that when they're disappointed in them, they feel extremely bad to the point where they start vomiting because of anxiety and things like that. It happens. There's other people who care, but there's limits. And I think that's what it's important. It's, you should care, but to a certain limit.
Yeah.
So if Matteo comes tomorrow and he says, oh Mark, you're skinny, I care about
but in that way. No,
I care. I will care about what he
Yeah.
said. I will take it into account. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
But I won't let it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he is right. Maybe he is wrong. Okay, I don't know how I perceive it,
Yeah.
but I will not let it affect me emotionally. Or, for example, you could come and you could, I don't know, insult my physique. I don't know, my physique, same thing. Like, let's say you say, "Oh, Mark, I hate your hair."
It's terrible.
Obviously, there are nicer ways to say stuff, and I think
Exactly.
you should be as respectful as you are. If the person is respectful towards you, you should make it your mission to be respectful as well.
But even if a
Yeah.
person's mean, you can still get something from it.
You can
know?
get
If someone bullies you for being badly dressed,
yeah.
okay,
You're
maybe to some extent they're right. You know, it depends how you're dressed. You
Yeah,
know, it
that's
depends on you. It depends if you like being dressed the way you are. Then okay, that's great.
But that depends if the person is trying to make you feel bad. If his intention is to make you feel bad and he knows that what you're wearing isn't even that bad, he just wants you to feel bad.
Yeah, so
But there's a difference. It's, you can always take someone's negative intentions and then turn them
No,
into
but that's
positive
true.
stuff.
But like constructive criticism, what is it? It's when you say something like that isn't present, but you think should be present in someone.
Okay, yeah.
So I guess that's the difference between just all out bullying. When you say when you want the person to feel bad, just say something that knows that they will be affected by it.
Yeah.
But there is a difference between constructive criticism and just being a dick.
But you know what? Going back to what we were saying and what you were saying as well, where No, also what you were saying, because you were saying people call you, people were judging you. You had that one friend that was like judging your physique and saying that you were small, and how that affected you in a negative way. And what I'm trying to say is that like no matter what the intention of the bully is or the person judging you is, it all goes back to how you perceive it.
True.
And how what you make out of his criticism towards you, you know. And this is how you can change anything that's happening to you into a positive impact on your life, you know.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. So I feel like at the end of the day, there's two different types of people: people who get pushed like positively by criticism, and people who are negatively affected by criticism. And it's always been like this. I know I can name a couple people who are like, I can put like two different people in each category, and you know it's different for each person.
Yeah. What got me to work out was when that kid bullied me. He took my food and shit, and then I was still gonna stay the same, but my uncle was like, "You're getting with me to the gym," and that's the day that changed it all.
Yeah.
I'll say something about bullying. I think
it's missing.
No, bullying is. I don't know. Did everyone here get bullied? Did you get bullied?
At some point, maybe, yeah. At some point. But I had an older brother, though, so I don't know. You know, you see, so it wasn't really as bad. You know?
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Anyways, what I've learned, and from the people that I've talked to that have been bullied, bullying changed people a lot, and I think 80% of the time in a good way. Like, when you get bullied, the amount of things, like I know for me as a person, I've learned so much from being bullied. Like, the person that I am today is literally based on being bullied.
Really?
Like, I know that if I wasn't bullied, maybe I know that my life would have been different, my experiences would be different, and the way that I act right now would be different. But having been bullied, it just changes your perspective on so many things.
Yeah. It makes you strong. That's definitely one thing.
True. I think it makes you more mature, and at the same time it helps you understand connections with people, how it actually works. You know? Like you're careful when you speak to not hurt the person in front of you. Because you know that it might hurt them. Because you know what it feels like to be hurt.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something huge, and you don't get it if you never experience it. If you never experience what being insulted feels like, or being genuinely pushed around every single day when you go to school, then there can be a lack of empathy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
So I'm genuinely thankful for being bullied.
Yeah, same.
It's tough, but I wouldn't say I'd be thankful. I mean,
I'm grateful that it happened.
Well, to me, I think it was unfortunate what happened to me, but like, still, I think there are good things that came out of it. I mean, because you know, I used to think in a very hateful way about what happened to me when I got bullied. I would always think like, why do these people like judge me for this, for X, Y, and Z and stuff? But the truth is, like, honestly, in their heads, in their minds, like, it's probably to take out their anger on someone that doesn't deserve it, to make them feel better about themselves. But like, it's not the right way to take your anger out on someone. But that proves that the one who is being bullied is stronger than all the people that are trying to bully him, because if he's always taking the stuff, and if he chooses to distance himself and create a new group of friends, that proves that he is mentally strong to overcome, I would say, anything basically in life. Because you've already gone through that step of like suffering, that you're willing to start something new and distance yourself from the wrong people.
You're not scared of being alone.
Exactly, yeah.
But I feel like, okay, so if you're for example being bullied for a certain aspect in your life that you're lacking in, but if you're not even trying to improve yourself in that certain aspect, any type of comments that have been like someone commenting on this aspect in your life, you would not care, because you already know this is something that you don't care about.
That's true. I agree with you on the self-improvement part, where if someone comments on something you're not trying even, then I agree, you should probably start doing it. But if it gets to the point where it's not even about that one aspect you should change, it's about you as a person. And if you know that you are a respectful person, like in general, like you treat people nicely, and like you're not being a dick towards that person, then they have no reason. And if you're trying to improve yourself constantly, then they have no reason.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you are trying to improve yourself
Yeah.
in a certain thing that he's commenting on,
Yeah.
this is where you should actually start getting offended by it, because you're genuinely trying to fix this problem, and
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
still nonetheless people are still gonna comment on
Yeah.
it. So this
Yeah.
is where it starts to get very offensive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
apart from a situation or an aspect in your life where something that you're not even working on, and
Yeah.
you're getting comments on
Exactly.
it, so you don't even care about what people think, because you're not even you yourself, you're not even conscious of.
Yeah, if it's something you can't change, like your physique or anything, and you're getting shitted on because of that, then it's...
You can change your physique.
Exactly.
Well, no, yeah, but imagine like a guy is trying to change his height and it's already predetermined.
yeah,
Oh,
okay,
you're right. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Or if
But
it's...
I know,
yeah.
I know someone who genuinely got bullied because he was fat, and being fat, like being bullied for it, it's genuinely what got him to the gym and got him to lose all the weight and to
Yeah.
completely change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fun being bullied. I never said it was fun. You're never gonna have a good time when you're being bullied.
No.
You know, but you learn a lot from it, and it depends on how you interpret it. You know,
Yeah.
you could interpret it as like, oh, I can't with all the pressure. I just don't want to continue living on, and you could think of it of like in a depressing way,
Yeah.
or you could be like, look, like these people hate me for X, Y, and Z. I don't care about what they think because I'm confident enough in
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think pain is necessary in life, and we have to. When
Learn
you're
to
going
deal
through
with it, yeah.
a tough period, you have two choices. Why, which is unfortunate, but why is not going to help you, or do something about it.
Yeah.
Now, there's that being said, that we're going to go through different pains in life. We have been through some, we're going to go through some others, and we got to learn to see, okay, I've been through this pain, what can I take from it? What can I change to make sure I make the damage in the future less? I don't go through it again. I deal with it better. But if you don't do that, when you go through pain, you're not going to get something from it. And some people, they get bullied, but they don't change.
That's true.
So if you got bullied,
Some people get bullied for no reason as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
yeah,
That's like the worst part, because you know you can't change anything, and there's
Yeah.
nothing to change, and you still get bullied for it.
Yeah.
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 But that takes me to another point.
Mm.
Do you feel like the people you surround yourself with have an impact on who you are as a person?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Of course.
But like, okay, but does it work only in a positive way, or can it also be negative?
I want to say,
Both.
both,
Yeah,
but I
both.
want to say something. Before going to uni, I thought if you surrounded yourself with people who were doing the opposite of what you wanted to do, then you would eventually succumb and become like them exactly. But after going to uni, I have realized something. You could, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
If your closest friends, for me personally, are not like that. And if you have, for me, I'm doing copywriting and stuff, you have other friends who are chasing better, bigger things.
Yeah.
While having those friends that do stupid stuff, you could inspire them, who knows. But I think you don't necessarily have to follow their steps.
Yeah.
As long as they respect you as well. And they leave you, they don't come and annoy you for living your life,
Yeah.
I'll say something, and we talked about it last time, but this time I'll connect it to something else. It's the people that you surround yourself with. You need to have people that have the same values as you, that think the same way as you, that to some extent have the same lifestyle as you, because or else it's kind of complicated, and with whom you can genuinely talk with completely transparently.
Yeah.
That's what I think your main friends should be about, and that's what your main friends should be about.
Yeah.
But what I'm gonna link it to is our first subject, which is relationships. I think that's even more important when it comes to, for example, finding a girlfriend.
Yeah. She will influence you so much.
Yeah,
More than anyone else.
I couldn't agree.
Yeah.
It's because when you love someone, you don't think. I think to some extent you don't think rationally a lot of the time, and if you're going through some certain things and you rely too much on your emotions and you don't rely on your thinking, and the other person has completely different intentions than yours, then you could just follow your feelings and then realize, oh, why am I here? You know, I was chasing these dreams, I was chasing doing these things, and then my emotions got swayed away because like I was listening to someone and I wasn't thinking about it.
That's true. That's true for the first couple months. Because the first couple months of every relationship is where the level of intimacy between you and this person is at its peak.
Yeah.
You know? And this is where you as a man in the relationship is trying to do everything that you possibly can to satisfy the woman that you are with, you know? Up until a point where you feel like you're already taking her for granted. Like you're taking her for granted right now because you already know you're a couple and you're together. So you no longer have this pressure of having to prove yourself to her. You feel me? So at this point you're no longer caring about like what your goals are because you already achieved what you wanted to, which is being in a relationship. You see what I'm
I
saying?
don't think I agree.
I think I got what he's saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
What you're saying is that basically what happens is people, they want to become strong, big, etc. to get a girl, to be in a relationship, and
Sure.
then once they get it, they stop because I already got what I wanted, right?
Exactly.
So I think a lot of people do this.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
a lot of people do this, and that's unfortunate. They think when they're gonna be with the woman, she's gonna be their sole happiness, right? Yeah, Disneyland, yeah. No, unfortunately not, because I have realized, and my uncle told me this as well, and it's very true, that for you to be, you have to be happy
Yeah, with yourself.
first with yourself,
Yeah.
have your life going. A girl
Yeah.
can just add more to it
That's
if she's the right one.
Yeah.
But you're not missing something right now.
Exactly.
If you get it, great, but don't beat yourself up. If you
It's
don't
something
have-
extra. It's
Yeah.
not something that you need. Some people live lives and they just don't marry, and then they're
Yeah.
happy they're happy being single their whole lives. I know I won't, but
Yeah.
a lot of people are happy living this way. Having a partner is something extra.
But
It's not supposed to be. I'm only gonna be happy if I have a girlfriend. No,
yeah.
you're supposed to be happy without.
I do wanna bring another point that could be said to what I just brought up, which is, okay, but isn't that a bit selfish? Like, shouldn't there be some sacrifices? Because if you say, oh, you should be happy completely alone, then that means you have to. There's no room for you to do stuff together. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But hold on, man. Hold on. Do you not know this saying where men after marriage all of a sudden turn like become fat and
Yeah.
stuff and become very lazy?
Yeah.
And this is not just applied to marriage. This is applied to like even
Really?
dating at some
Yeah.
point. You know, because like when dating goes to a certain point where it's like you've been dating for such a long time, you no longer care about how she like, perceives you because you already bagged her. You know, she's already with you, so you don't care anymore. You see.
Yeah.
So this is the same concept.
That's why you shouldn't work out for.
Exactly.
That's-
If everything in your life is the goal to have a girlfriend, then it won't work out because as soon as you'll turn out like all the other people we talked about.
Yeah.
But if I know, for example, that I want to be successful and that my plans are X, Y, and Z, and that getting a girlfriend is just something that's gonna come along the way.
Yeah.
In that case, having the girlfriend or not won't stop me for working for my dreams.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mentality we need to have.
This is where I disagree with Andrew Tate, because I feel I get the vibe from his course and even from him that everything is for the woman. Everything,
Yeah.
even if he says,
Although, yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
He pretends to be like,
it's for
oh
the
yeah,
woman, the
It's for
body,
the
be
woman, yeah.
strong for the woman,
Yeah.
make the money for the woman, and I understand this is to
My problem
to
with-
encourage
Yeah.
men to do it for the woman, but the problem is, some men do this and they don't get the woman.
Yeah.
They stop, they give up, or others do get her and then they stop, they get lazy.
No, but I feel like there was some miscommunication there.
Mm.
He's not necessarily doing it for the woman.
Yeah.
He's saying you should do it and eventually the woman will come.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's not necessarily doing this for the woman. He's saying, no, you should actually like stop caring about how women perceive you. And when you start caring about yourself and do this for yourself,
Mhm.
eventually you'll see the woman will come.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I might have misunderstood.
Yeah. So yeah, like you have a point as well. You have a
That's
point.
true.
Definitely. I'll go back to the main components that you need to have before finding the right person. I feel like when you get into a relationship with someone, the most important things are your values
Yeah.
and the limits that you want to have of how you want to do things, how you want things to go.
Mm.
you know. And I feel like one of the most important things that you need to take into consideration if you're religious is religion.
Yeah.
Because it affects your personality and your way of thinking in such a big way that it's too big to ignore, you know. So I know that, for example, as a Christian, when I try to get into relationships with girls, with women, I don't know. That just sounds
Just say girls, bro. It's alright.
Whatever. It's not the same in French, okay? When you try to get into a relationship, you can't just put it on the side, you know. For example, if you date an atheist, they don't have the same train of life as you, because you, for example, you wake up, you pray in the morning, and then in the afternoon you pray as well, maybe, and then at night maybe you pray before going to bed. When before going to a job interview, you're gonna ask God for help. They're not gonna ask God for help. There's so many different situations that are big in your life, in which you're gonna see huge differences, and if it's not like understood from the start, you're gonna realize it like on the way that religion just takes a huge part.
Yeah.
So what is your point exactly?
My point is religion is definitely something that you should consider before getting into a relationship with someone. Like tomorrow I couldn't get, in my religion I'm only allowed to marry another Christian, but let's say I was to meet a Muslim woman, for example.
Yeah.
I wouldn't share the same values as her because we don't have the same religion.
Exactly.
So I think in some ways about different things, and she thinks in different ways about other things. So for example, if we get kids, how are we going to raise the kids? Are the kids the kids can't be taught to be Christian and to be Muslim. I can't take them one day to the church and the next day to the mosque.
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense, you know.
But you can change her, bro.
No, you can't change people. There's some things. It's out of respect. You shouldn't.
It's out of respect.
It's out of respect. You shouldn't try to change people's beliefs.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing's for sure. Like one thing I've always thought about is like, no matter what happens or no matter who the people you surround yourself with, you should always like, the faith you have with God or whatever your religion is, it should not be affected by the people you surround yourself with, you know? And even if it's a partner, like I know plenty of Muslim men who have Christian women as wives, which is permissible in our religion, and they stay strong in their religion, although the woman might be like drinking alcohol, doing whatever, but they're still staying faithful to their religion. And this is the most important thing, is that no one is affected by each other's beliefs, you know? And this is what makes a healthy relationship stay longer, where you do not have an effect on each other, but in fact support each other whatever the fuck you believe in, you know? Yeah.
But I think it's difficult to do that if you don't have the same religion.
I think it's difficult, man, because like my Arabic teacher told me a story, and it's a real one, of someone he knew who, especially if you bring kids in. If you don't bring kids in, okay. But if the kids are in, that's where it gets complicated. What religion are they gonna be? And his son was called, I don't know, Muhammad or something, and he wanted him to be Muslim. So obviously he tried to do the process, you know, of getting him circumcised, and he didn't tell his wife didn't agree at first. So he did it in the back. She got pissed. She took the kid, left.
She stuck it back together?
Nah. She left
with the kid?
Yeah.
She left with the kid, and he couldn't find him for years, and then turns out later he became Pope. So Pope Muhammad. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Damn.
I do think certainly it's complicated if the question is how do I raise my child, like, but do you guys not think that it should be up to the child to decide whether he's from one religion? In the case that there is the woman that marries a guy from another religion, let's say that happens, should it not be the decision of the kid to choose rather than of the parents?
I think the decision of the kid comes after he's raised.
Yeah.
Because I know that, you know, sure, if I could have been raised, like if I could learn both about Islam and Christianity when I was a kid, it'd probably be super hard for a kid to learn both of them. But I feel like, look, if you're, I don't know, if both your parents are Christian, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna be a Christian most of the time. And if both of your parents are Muslim, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna be a Muslim. But then when you get to a point where you start leaving the house and you start like becoming your own person, you're still at the liberty of choosing what you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, and it's at that point where the kid is able to decide, oh, maybe I want to change religion, maybe I'm not agreeing with what I've been taught, maybe that's what I want to change religion. It happens.
There is one risk here though. If a kid is confused, he might be like, well, let me look at other religions.
True.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously the kid does what he wants, but for the parents that's hard. You're like, well, what if he becomes atheist in the end?
It's, you can't just take parts of Islam and parts of Christianity and put it into a child and you expect the child to grow up normally. You know, I know a lot of cases in Egypt of like couples that are Christian and Muslim, sorry, and a lot of those kids are either extremely into, I don't know, one of the two religion, and they kind of push away the other one completely because they're like, no, I don't want that side anymore. And most of the time what happens is the kid is just confused and he just ends up not choosing any one of them because he's like, oh, my mom says this is real and my dad says this one is real. Maybe it's just about opinion, you know.
This is much more common than you would expect because I've seen a lot of cases. But honestly, at the end of the day, I feel like if you have two parents and they're both different religions, then it all goes back to the kids' like surrounding, as in their friends, where they live in, their society. You know, it all goes back to this. Because I've had friends who are Christian who are with us in class, and they're surrounded with Muslims. Okay, and I remember like some Muslims used to talk to this Christian about like Islam and all about this stuff, and like trying to convince them how Islam is. And honestly, it's definitely fucked up to do that. Yeah. Like even in such a young age. The way they do it too. Exactly, and it's just like it's fucked up coming from a Muslim myself. Even though I necessarily I obviously believe that Islam is the way to go. Obviously, you say otherwise, but like seeing this happen in front of me, even though I support or like I believe in Islam, it's just so fucked up to me. It's just so fucked up. So I don't know.
You shouldn't use the force way. We said it before. If you are strong, if you are doing it that way, they're gonna run from you. They're not gonna want anything to do with it.
It's like they're scaring them from the religion. It's like, bro.
Yeah.
But I do think I'm more lenient to the side of them being the same religion.
Yeah, no, definitely, because it creates less conflict and it's just easier for everyone, the parents and the child.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I actually was talking with a priest once, and we were talking about relationships, and exactly these kinds of relationships where one parent doesn't share the same values or the same religion as the other one.
Yeah.
And he said that there's 3 different categories of things where you can put in. So think about 3 different bags. So there's one bag where the person accepts what you do. She respects it. She doesn't say, I'm gonna say for a wife. So for example, she respects what you're thinking. She respects that you go to church, but she's not gonna come to church with you, or she's not gonna go to the mosque with you. She's just respect it. You do what you want to do. I won't push you out of it, but I'll respect it. Then there's some other stuff with which she's not gonna agree with at all. She's gonna be like, okay, no, I don't. For example, in your case, you can say that she eats pork, like in front of you. You can be like, no, like I don't eat pork, and she's gonna try to push you to eat pork because she finds it normal and good for your health. She can find it normal for the health of your kid. She can be like, no, I want my son to eat pork. Okay, so there's some of the stuff that's unacceptable at all, and that you're gonna have fights in, and you're gonna try to have the least of those possible. And then you're gonna have the third thing, which is she completely accepts and she does it with you. So you're gonna have the things where she's like, oh, okay, I definitely agree with you. Our kids should eat this and eat that, and you do the same activities. So for example, you both play soccer together, you all do all those things. And so the more you have in the basket of we agree we're gonna do these things together, the more it's better for you and it's better for the children. But the more there's gonna be in the acceptance bag of like, I respect it and I accept it, but I'm not gonna go too far into it, the more the relationship is prone to be falling apart. Because once you start accepting, she's like, okay, yeah, you went to church, it's good, but you've been going to church for 3 weeks and now I want to go out. What are you gonna say? You can't just say no, because you've been going to the church for 3 weeks and she's telling you need to go out now. And it can't be a relationship where you're the one who's the most important because what she thinks matters as well. So it has to be balanced. But how do you balance it then? Because am I going to go to church and then she gets mad because she's not getting the right treatment that she's supposed to be getting? Because in her life it's not important to go to church. Or am I going to be like, yeah, okay, I'll go with you because it makes sense. But then in that case you're compromising yourself. So there's always going to be that part of compromising yourself for the other person in a way that's not healthy for you at all. Yeah. And to what extent is that correct, you know?
But there will always be in relationship costs.
But hold on a second. Can we just give a round of applause to Mark? Very well said, Mark.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I was gonna say there will always be costs and there will always be rewards in relationships, and we as humans, we try to minimize costs and increase rewards.
The costs are so big in that case.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I agree with you, you know, but part of me is like, but is it maybe too much what we ask for? Sometimes when I look at us, for example, we want a wife, or in our case, I think, who is Muslim, who supports us for wanting to be successful, who is healthy and looks a bit good. Is that, and has a good character, is that too much? Is that even realistic, you know?
I think when you list it like that, it does sound unrealistic, but I'm sure it's possible, man.
Like, I don't doubt it 1 second that I will find a wife like this.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely don't doubt
it. Like, now, it seems unrealistic because, I mean, maybe in 10 years you'll have a different mindset. But, like, I think it's boils down...
Plan.
It's God's plan.
It's God's
exactly.
plan.
It's God's plan.
You know, hold on, man. Do you see yourself one day converting religions for love?
No,
I don't think
I can't.
I know it's my values.
Exactly.
I've gotten to a point where I know my values. I know what I think. I know what I believe in.
Yeah.
And except if, you know, something huge happens in my life that makes me want to change religion, I'm like 100% sure that I'm happy with my own values right now and the way I'm praying to God, you know.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on through the minds of other women who convert religions to marry a specific man with a specific religion? Like, what do you think, is this like lack of faith, or is it because...
I think it could be their motive as well. It depends on the motive. If, let's say, it's a really bad motive, and let's say this woman wants to marry a really successful Muslim, let's say, like very rich guy, and she converts for him just because she wants to get married to him just because of the money.
Yeah.
Then that would be an extremely wrong reason to
yeah. But I think a lot of time love makes you blind as well.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
okay, if it's for love, then it's more difficult to define if it's right or wrong. I don't know, because you guys are definitely more tied to religion than I am. Well, I mean, I'm Catholic. I've been baptized in a church, but I regret kind of not being more open to religion. But I still believe in God. But I do acknowledge the fact that I could have been more. I could have gone to church more. I could have been more closer to God. But I think you guys are more qualified to answer this question in the sense that you guys have more experience in religion than I do. And so that question could lead into interesting debates, but also, I don't know,
I don't think there's a straight answer to the question.
Because you're asking us to get into the mind of another person, and
it's really tough because there are so many factors that can influence someone's psychology and why they do something.
But if we're talking like maybe in most cases, it could be a lack of faith.
You think so?
I think if you're close enough to the religion, if it's part of your core, you know, your values. I'm not saying extreme or whatever, you just try to embody it in who you are as a person. It's very hard for you to throw it away, because think of it this way. Imagine there's someone who wants to be successful and he wants love and he wants a good body, but every time he has the chance to get those things, he's like, if only I wasn't this religious, you know, I could have had it.
Yeah, I mean, it all goes back to how big of a part does religion play in your life.
Yeah.
You see, and this is where things get a bit tricky, because you don't know how to balance between two different aspects in your life, and you feel like one thing, because me personally, like I've grown up in a Muslim household, and it's always been where like religion is what plays, like it's how it controls your life, you see. And any question that I feel like I want an answer for, I always go back to religion, you see.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
for me.
Same.
Yeah, and it's different for other people, obviously, because people might not be as religious, and this is why I feel like when it comes to relationships, where people convert religions for love, this is where I feel like people tend to not have as enough like faith in the religion,
Yeah.
so they convert just because religion has never been that big of a part in their life.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And I think also in religions, people want a big miracle to become nowadays. You
Yeah.
know, oh God, show me a sign, but they don't realize that sometimes a sign can just be, if you look for a second, a sign can be something as simple. You
Yeah.
were going, the video that I saw that got me into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
To me, that was a sign, because I thought all business people were evil, and it got me into it. Or when I was down with one of my friends always being negative and like, oh, I'm gonna end my life, it hurt me. You know, I was like, I was so negative and I didn't know what to do. I got into bad habits, and then I just started reading the Quran more. Instead of running away when the Arabic teacher came and hiding under the table, now I actually want to go to the lesson and ask questions
I
and
feel that, man.
understand.
We all did that with our Arabic teachers, bro.
Except.
But But I will say this though, the way you teach religion plays a role, because when they were at first, my first teacher was like, you gotta learn the Quran by heart. A kid, that is such a heavy task. Not for all kids, but for me it was heavy.
Of course.
My second teacher was more like, I'll adjust it to what you want and what you can do, what works for you. And he's really helping me with the EQ aspect, how emotionally intelligent, how to deal with people, how to be as a person. And that to me is the aspect I care a lot
That's
about.
the most important part.
Yeah.
It sounds like your Arabic teacher is more than just an Arabic teacher. It's more like a mentor to you,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you you refer to him in such a way as if he's done a lot of good in your life,
Yeah.
and like he's had a good influence on you. Like whenever you're troubled,
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
shout out to.
If you're watching this right now,
But like whenever you speak about him, like I always get the impression that every hurdle, every problem you've gone through, it's always been solved with this person. So
Yeah.
I think it's good for you to have a mentor-like figure, especially in religion.
I think it's important for everyone to have
Yeah.
a mentor-like figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super
I agree.
important.
Yeah.
but like I can't relate to you as much. It's because obviously you mentioned that you've been living here in Geneva for how long now? 12 years.
yeah.
12 years. Yeah. So obviously growing up here, where the majority of I don't know obviously, but like the majority is not Muslim,
Yeah, Protestant.
and for
I
you
think-
to be
I think it's Catholic.
Catholic.
Oh no, it's fine.
I'm not sure.
We would have to search it up.
Anyways,
But anyways,
Christian.
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever. So
Let him.
yeah, so for you to go back home and having to have like this Arabic teacher come and teach you all about the Quran, and you're seeing like whatever, you're gonna have to miss like some outings with your friends or whatever it must be just for that lesson. It must be such a problem for you growing up, because you see all your friends not doing it and you're forced to do it every day or whenever, how often you used to do it.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that helped me as a Muslim to get closer to my religion is seeing how faithful my friends were, and they helped me. Like whenever I see them go pray, I used to go pray as well. Although if it was me personally alone, I would have not gone to pray. You see, and this is where your friends and your surroundings play a part in who you become as a person. You see, and this is why I was saying like, obviously people growing up in a non-Muslim country or non-Christian or whatever, you will not have as much like motivation to get closer to your religion. You know.
You know, I think God made a miracle for both of us to meet, because even though both me and Yassine are not like, he's Muslim, I'm Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
thank God.
genuinely, the amount of things that we've learned from each other and the amount of time that we pushed each other to
Yeah.
do things when it came to religion and even entrepreneurship, it's huge. Like it's crazy. Like the amount of, like when I'd go to Yassine's house and he'd excuse himself and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go pray now. I'm like, look, like now I have time, you know what, I'm gonna pray.
Yeah.
I don't have to pray. It's just that what else do you want me to do?
Exactly.
And it pushed me to see that someone was working hard and that he's going to the mosque every week with his dad and he's pushing himself to pray, you know? I'm like, the least I can do is go to the church at least once a week, you know? Go to mass, pray.
I want to say something. You actually got me to pray the Friday prayer. Because
Really?
when I saw you go pray it, like I used to pray.
When did that happen?
When you went and left the uni, the uni trip we had together.
Oh, the tour and the
you
first
went and
week,
prayed,
yeah.
and usually like I had no one that did that. So part of me was like, look, he's defying the odds. He's leaving the trip in uni. I've always been like, I can't because there's uni, and he's going to pray to the mosque. And there's another guy also in our uni. He goes and prays the prayers in his free time and stuff. What? And I was like, wow, they actually do this. I have to do it. So I went to my dad and I was like, actually, that Friday I'm free. Uni gives it off, and that's actually very cool. Thanks to uni. Let's go and pray on Friday, like you did. So friends do play a role.
I'm glad I impacted you, man.
Thanks, man. Okay, I got something to say actually. So, given what you just said about our friendships, Mark, do people of different religions have to fight all the time? They always have conflicts together. Are we all terrorists at the end of the day? Like, because people think, oh, because Christians, Muslims, what's going on in the world right now, they're all fighters. They all argue together.
Bro, it all ties down to, are they radical or are they not radical? Do they believe that violence justifies their beliefs? Or if they don't, if they believe the exact opposite? That's the way I see it. Because in no such case, violence should be the answer to any of their actions. I don't know what you guys think, but...
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, but what I want to say is like, so the reason you came here is because of the revolution back in 2011, right? And that began with, not to get too political, obviously, but like, I want to say is that like, the terrorism attacks that's happening is not only towards other religions, it's towards Muslims as well. Like we've had terrorist attacks in Egypt by Muslims towards Muslims. You see?
Yeah.
So it's not just like that Muslims are hating towards all the other religions. It's just the fact that
it's a group of Muslims that are targeting Muslims and other people as well.
Exactly. So it's not targeting a specific, a specific audience or a specific religion or whatever it might be. So it's just like a weird coincidence that they are Muslims, and this is obviously not what we stand for. But like, it is what it is, and you'd find terrorists in every other religion, not just Islam.
That is true. Yeah.
In Islamic states, you have your religion and we have ours.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Mark, also in your religions, there's got to be radical people, right?
Of course,
Exactly.
yeah. Bro, if only you knew, man. Even in the Catholic religion, man, like with all the scandals you have with the priests and everything, like the allegations about them, you know, the rape allegations. I mean, every religion has its like common stigma that people believe, but like the thing is, ignorance breeds that kind of belief. And so you should really try to educate yourself before you say a very ignorant thing, such as like, oh yeah, all Muslims are terrorists, or like, like, I don't know, like something along the lines of that. You should always try to educate yourself before saying some stupid shit like that.
Yeah. And I think what saddened me also is that one of my friends was like, yeah, bro, looking at how all the three religions have terrorists and they fight, I think I'm just going to stay away from those three religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, because
that's just
because of what's going on.
You know, I don't think.
I think
you know it's like
sorry to cut you.
My bad. I think it's like wars. You know, people, not religion wars, just normal wars. You know, I'm sure that when there was the war between two different countries, or like World War, I think genuinely that 80% of people did just not want a war, and it's just 20% of the people that created the war. You know, everybody during the war, nobody during the war was happy. Nobody wanted the war. And I think it's the same thing during religion. It's you have 20% that are giving the bad image to the other 80% because they're speaking aloud. They're making attraction. It's making the news, News needs to make money, so it just puts more news out and just takes all of these little things and it kind of just throws it in the bonfire, and so the fire becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and people see these, oh, all Muslims are terrorists, Arabs, they steal, Jewish people, they take all the money, and then these guys, they do, Christians, their priests are rapists.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, bro, that's not even 10% of our religion.
Exactly.
Like, we do not support all of the negative things that are happening. Like,
I think part of that has to do with fear a lot, because like they're scared of these common stigmas that they don't even bother to like challenge their reasoning, like, is this true or no? They just go with it because other people that are scared tell them the same thing. So they don't even bother to educate themselves. They just go with it, basically.
Yeah. But I think as long as you can just like, you open a book of like a page of the, I don't know about the Quran, but you open any page of the Bible, and you'll see that the main message is love and it's peace. Okay? It's probably the same for the Quran. If it's the same, then the people who act in like negative ways and that are aggressive and that are killing people, then you just have to look at the book. They're not going according to the book. People that do these things cannot consider themselves as people from that religion, you know? And that's what people fail to understand. They're like, oh, religion, it's huge. It's either you're Christian, you're Muslim, or you're Jewish. There's so much more into it, you know? You could be a good Christian as much as you can be a bad Christian. You could be a bad Christian that's murdered thousands of people, or you could be a good Christian that lives like a monk like a monk life. Or you could be a sheikh, or you could be the worst kind of Muslim possible and be a terrorist. You know, you can't just generalize it. It's hard for people to understand because they don't a lot of people nowadays, they don't believe anymore. They don't have faith.
And I think, oh, go ahead, you want to say something?
No, you go ahead, it's fine.
I was gonna say, I think, Mark, also, like, we think that it's always the big three religions that only have radical people, but there are other religions too that aren't a part of the big three have radical.
I'm sure there are some radical Protestants out there that we don't know of, and the thing is, bro, like, that's what I was saying, man, like, everyone has this main perception that the big three, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, they all are very, like, they're, as you said, broad, but there have been a lot of conflicts that have stemmed out of these three religions, but only people choose to see the ignorant side of the story, which is, since those have been causing a lot of problems lately, then we associate them with danger. But that's not the right way of thinking of it at all.
And I also...
sorry.
I was gonna say, I also think most wars don't happen because of religion, but because of power. If we look at man from the history of time, it's always been power.
Honestly, a lot of the time, just religion's just an excuse to have the war, you know? Because if you think of it, if you put a Christian country against a Muslim country, they can just use the religion as an excuse.
I know that before, what they used to do, like in the Middle Ages, is that they used to like force people to pay their sins away. And so I think that's a way of kind of manipulating people's beliefs in an evil way, which is telling them, if you pay the church, your sins will disappear.
I think something that really changed religion a lot is that people try to profit off of it.
That's one of the ways that's kind of given religion a bad image, is that some bad people have tried to manipulate people religiously.
It's okay.
Don't know why I struggle with that word, but like it's really a shame, because like if you give a certain thing a bad image, then it's more likely to stick with people, in my opinion, than a good image.
No, people like to. You don't see people talking about miracles that happen either in Christianism or Islam. People just kind of ignore it, you know. But as soon as there's a priest that does something wrong,
exactly.
1 in a million priests that does something wrong.
Because it creates more turmoil.
If there's one Muslim attack, boom, news. If there's one Arab, it doesn't even have to be Muslim or Christian at this point. If there's one Arab that stole something from a shop, boom, headlines. If there's a white guy, bro, we're not going to talk about it.
That's true. That's actually.
And they play the trick of dressing like they are from this.
Like if you see a guy that looks somewhat Muslim, let's say he's not even Arab. He could be, I don't know, from Georgia or
Caucasian or
Caucasian, exactly. He looks kind of Arab. Imagine the press like manipulating the story and saying Arab
happens.
kills. It surely happened. Like I don't have a specific example in mind.
What I will say though is
Yeah.
that it's good to have stereotypes to some extent. You know, a lot of the terrorist attacks that happened in France, for example, they were by Muslim extremists. So when they saw Arab people, they were like, okay, we need to be more careful because maybe he's an extremist Muslim.
The Je suis Charlie attacks.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get why they're doing it, and it's reasonable, and it's not their fault. But to some extent, people have to understand it's not because a group of people did something wrong that it's all the group's fault. That's kind of what I.
But hold on, you're
Because-
saying that stereotypes are a good thing because
To some extent,
I will say even
What do you
as-
mean by that?
yeah.
it's more of like. Okay, so for example, we do say that Arab people, for example, are the ones who are terrorists. Why? Because most terrorist attacks that happen in France, for example,
Or in an
were by Arabs. Okay, whether it's atheists or extreme Muslims or maybe extreme Christians, I don't know. In that case, most of them were Arab, and that's facts. You know, if you look at the statistics, it is the case. So you can understand why when someone sees an Arab guy, they're gonna be more careful. But at the same time, you can't like we're not all terrorists.
But how is that positive?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was kind of asking you because you said if you're more likely to know that a certain ethnic group or a religious group is if you associate them with bombing, terrorism, etc., like isn't that more of it's a negative thing because you can't see anything good of that group. You just only see the terrorism, the bombing. That's why having stereotypes is negative because if I say to you, hey, just because you have brown skin, it means that you steal, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a negative stereotype. There's no such thing as a good stereotype in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but why would the stereotype exist?
Well,
What's
because
the reason behind the stereotype?
the reason behind the stereotype is because people are too afraid when they see something that they don't understand. That if they see someone that does not pertain from their culture, their defense it's like it's your subconscious talking. It's saying, since this guy doesn't look like me, like I should be afraid.
No, that's not what I mean.
That's kind of like the in-group, out-group bias.
But you grabbed my attention to something because
Yeah.
obviously I'm new here to the country. I've only been here for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And something I've noticed as soon as I came into the university, obviously back in Egypt I was surrounded with all Egyptians,
Yeah, yeah.
like mostly Egyptians obviously.
Yeah.
And as soon as I came here, I've never thought that I'd ever have like a specific opinion on an ethnic group or a nationality or ethnicity
Yeah.
or whatever until I came here. Because once I came here, as soon as I came in, I saw obviously like in an international university, you have people from all around the world. And I started already making my mind up on who's who and what's their
Yeah.
personality just based off what they look like. You
That's
know?
true.
And a week or 2 later, this has completely changed. Like,
Yeah.
I know people who, as soon as I looked at it, I was like, no, man, this is not for me. Like, stay away
Yeah,
from me.
yeah.
A week later, I'm best friends with this guy. Like, you see? So this is where my mind was a bit like, damn, I'm so
Yeah.
racist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, you never realize it until you're put into this situation.
To be honest, what differentiates racism and what we just talked about is when the person actively thinks that no matter, imagine one person from one country and another country are having a conversation and turns out the guy is super nice, right?
Yeah.
But the other person who has been scared before of meeting him because of the color of his skin, whatever, still thinks that just because they look a certain way, he or she should avoid them. That's being racist.
Of course,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's if you look at someone and you're like, okay, because he looks that way, I'm just not gonna talk to him.
yeah.
Or if because he comes from that background, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna talk to him. That's just fucked up.
Yeah.
But I'll just like to come back on this stereotype thing that
Yeah.
I said just to
Yeah.
clarify a little bit. Maybe I expressed myself badly. I don't think it's necessarily a good thing, but I think it's something that we all have.
Obviously.
Yeah, no.
Because
Yeah.
and it's because of the way it's because if a majority of people from a certain group do
Yeah.
certain things, in which case we associate them to one big stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But a
even-
stereotype is not. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say even us as Muslims, you said we got attacked by terrorists in Egypt, right?
Yeah, it's true.
It created a stereotype for us about just stay away from him. He might be an extremist.
Yeah.
Like when we see someone with a long beard, we get we kind of
Even as a Muslim, when I see another Muslim with a big ass beard, me personally, I get a bit like,
yeah.
Yes, and this is me living in Egypt for almost all my life, and even my dad, like, he had a beard at some point, but it's not even, it was for style, and people are like joking around with him, hey, are you a terrorist or what, like,
Yeah.
and this is some comments that you get sometimes, and it's not even like a European versus Arab thing or whatever it might be. It's even between us, and
I can give you a simpler example. For example, whenever I tell people I'm Colombian, they don't believe me, simply
I
because.
didn't believe you, honestly.
Exactly. See, that's the thing, because you have this image of like people in South America being like, brown skin and stuff. Like, for example, my dad looks like he's probably the most Colombian looking out of the entire family. He has brown skin, he has a big beard and stuff.
Okay.
But like, that's your subconscious talking, like, I associate this ethnic group with these characteristics, but since this guy is white, has black hair, he doesn't pertain to the certain characteristics I associate that group with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's these mini assumptions you don't even decide. It's just your subconscious that speaks for you. Like,
because it makes sense that a Colombian would look like that.
To protect us, to not distort us, but also to not hurt our ego.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
were wrong.
Yeah.
No, it's just like when you see a guy with how do you say it in English? Les yeux bridés.
Squinted eyes. I think that's the way you said it.
Like the eyes in almond a little bit.
Okay.
You automatically know that he's from Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sure, maybe he lives in the States, but you just you see that person and you just know, or you see, if you look at Yassine or me, Salim, sorry,
Yeah.
you just know that we're Arab because you can see it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just our minds have configured that when you look a certain way, you come from a certain place.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But, like, honestly, I feel like recently, in many parts of the world,
Yeah.
people look extremely diverse. Like, I've seen many people from many different nationalities
Yeah.
that, even though they are from the same country, they look completely different.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's being, as time goes by, the worse it gets. Like, at some point, you're not gonna be able to differentiate, like, what people look like, just
To
cause.
some extent,
Just cause like people now are so much accepting like other nationalities, and families are now more accepting like two different nationalities like marrying each other and having mixed children. So the pure breed of nationalities nowadays is so hard to find.
True, because you've got, now that we can travel everywhere, you can just you can marry a Danish woman.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what would the kid be? Danish and Arabic, and then what is he supposed to look like? You know. So it's true that at some point I think we'll all kind of lose that origin part.
That's true.
I feel like this man's already lost it.
Well, that's partly because of the reason in Colombia there's not just one, because if you go through history, the Spanish, when they came, they saw the natives, and obviously they started families with the natives and stuff. But there are a lot of people who stayed with their families, like Spanish conquistadors. And because I did an ancestry test, and it turns out a large majority of where I come from is from Spain. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you look at a country, you shouldn't always associate one stereotypical guy you have in mind. You should always keep in mind that there is also heritage that comes into play. There is also let's take France for example. There are there's a lot of Arabs, like Arab influence in France. There are a lot of people from Lebanon and stuff. That's why you need to take your time to look at the country's history. Why is there a significant part of why is there a lot of people from this place in this place? That's in order to avoid if for example you couldn't just say like, oh yeah, there are so many Arabs in one place, that's just the way it is. You need to actually see why and stuff instead of just assuming it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
What has religion brought you as a person?
What do you mean by that?
Like, what have you feel like you got from it?
In which aspect in my life?
In your life, like
Everything?
everything.
So much.
It definitely gives you a sense of discipline in your life. It's because I feel like when a person no matter now, apart from religion obviously, when a person is so dedicated towards a specific aspect in his life, whether it is sports or the gym or school or whatever, automatically your brain is like, I feel like it is now it is more, I don't know how to explain it, but basically you're getting used to being disciplined to a certain aspect in your life, so you want to apply that same energy to every single aspect, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
So definitely religion gives you a sense of discipline in your life, because when you're disciplined towards your religion, you want to be disciplined towards every other aspect.
I didn't think of that.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah.
So
My first answer wasn't gonna be this.
I think it is, Mark, because one of our friends struggles a lot with discipline. And I think for us, it's...
I also sometimes struggle with discipline, man. I'm gonna be for real with you. Yeah. I think at some point we've all struggled with discipline. I don't know about you guys,
Definitely.
but I just really, that's something I hate when I'm not disciplined, because in the past I know myself, I've been very undisciplined with a lot of stuff, but I'm just trying to change, and I hope that for the future I'll be more disciplined in whatever field I choose to specify in.
Yeah.
But it's true that religion definitely does help. Because it's one thing that you can be disciplined in that doesn't require that much effort.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can be disciplined in religion if I pray a certain number of times a day and if I go to church. And you know, it doesn't take that much effort to go out of my way to go to church and to pray. You know, and that's just like the minimum to be a good Christian, you know, just pray and go to church. But then it takes a lot of more discipline, and it's not that difficult either to kind of take all the values and store them in your lives. So for example, be careful of the way you speak, be careful to, don't hurt other people, always offer your help to others, always be generous, always be humble. All of these things, they're things that I'm disciplined in and that require a lot of discipline. But it's just that at some point you do them so much, you do it all the time, you kind of get installed in you, and you have that constant discipline that doesn't require any more effort from you.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, you've taught yourself through discipline so much already that it's easier now to be disciplined about new things, since you've been able to be disciplined about so many other things.
Yeah.